Listen up, Rangers! Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve.
My name's Ernest.
And today we're finally at Ernest's place.
I know, it's been so long.
Right? Yeah, as I say, we're mainly doing everything at my house, at least as of late. But we're going to try to get back to doing more things over here in the near future.
Steve was at work. Just on his way here, he stopped by my house. So much easier.
Yeah, it's nice for these things. Then I got to get him editing more videos so I can stop editing.
Yes, please. I'm bored. I'm over here like...
I'm about to just make Ernest a video game channel so he has something to do.
I'm okay with... I'm playing Resident Evil 4. Why wouldn't I be streaming? I'm going to play Adam Fall here. You know?
Yeah, so we might be setting it up in the near future so we stop doing gaming content on here and... Ernest can primarily do the gaming one. I'll hop in on over here there. Kind of like how Ernest... He's in a lot of the Geek Chest stuff, but there's like some stuff like I just do myself.
He likes to tinker with toys.
It's true. At least we're finally getting Stevie Toy Rooms back out on a more consistent basis. I got as of this recording of this video, I already have one filmed. I gotta edit it, which I'm not looking forward to. It's Zilla finding Pokemon.
That is
a Pokemon box.
Oh, you know what? We can have a little fun opening your birthday present if you want it early, Steve.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can record it.
Yeah, we could probably do the third video from here. Well, anyways, today we get a lot of people asking us like, what's our favorite Godzilla movie?
That's easy.
What's our favorite Godzilla suit? So we've done this video in the past, but there's been actually a decent amount of Godzilla movies since the last time that we've done this list.
Whoa. Okay. I misunderstood that for a second. It took me a second to caught on. I thought you said decent Godzilla movies, but you said decent amount of Gotcha. Okay. There's only been like one or two decent Godzilla movies that would be added.
What Shin? I don't know if we actually... I think Shin wasn't out yet by the time we did the last list.
Damn, has it been that long?
I know the anime ones we didn't talk about for sure.
And we still are not. No, we're not. No.
But instead of redoing a list, we're just going to go through each movie and kind of just rate it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to base my ratings, and I'm assuming Ernest's too, is like how rewatchable the movie is for me.
You know, I'll be honest with you, -1, I've seen it like 4 or 5 times. You know, that tells you something, you know?
I've seen it quite a few too. But if you see me with the phone, I actually just have the movie list here just so we could do this chronologically in order. And I don't forget something because we're getting older. It just happens.
We are?
I don't know about you, but...
It explains why it hurts when I go up the stairs. That's why when I buy my next house, it'll just be one floor flat.
I throw my back out sleeping.
Oh, poor Steve.
I have a sneeze. I have a pain in my leg. Oh, it's great. I'm not even 40 yet. Ugh, I feel like it.
You know, I've been there. I sneezed and blew my back out. Like, oh!
Yeah, there was one time I was working on our fish pond, and I was, like, moving rocks, moving the liner insert. Like, we were redoing everything.
Good workout.
Yeah, did everything else. And then I went and did something else for a bit, and then I got a netting on the top because we had cats in the neighborhood at the time, and I was worried about it. So, light-ass net, right? Weighs maybe like 2 pounds. I went to go toss it on there, and just the motion of tossing it, I pinched like 3 nerves in my back. I had to go to the hospital. Oh, that was a good time. And that was like 10 years ago. So that just lets you know like the progression of Steve issues.
Get to the gym, Steve.
But I do work out, just not as hard as I probably would at a gym. Anyway, so like I said, we're going to do it out of... I will say 0 gabbers out of 5. I was gonna say 1 out of 5, but my criteria is 0 is I'm okay never watching it again. I've seen it the one time.
Movies, then.
So 0 can stay there. Then 1 to 5 is kind of like how often I could see myself rewatching.
See, that's crap because I love Godzilla Revenge.
Yeah,
but I would not watch it again. I'm sorry.
So this is how this list is gonna get construed a bit. Because this man loves himself some Godzilla Revenge, but you just heard it's a 1. It's a 1 out of 5.
It's a 1 you're done. Like
we'll get to it. We gotta go in order. So starting with Godzilla 1954, and I know a little bit of this list is gonna get kind of controversial. Because Godzilla 1954 is seen as one of the best Godzilla movies of all time. But how we're basing this list, I'd give it a 2. It's because, like I said, this ranking for me is rewatchability. And where I'm at my point in life, there's just honestly like we have Godzilla minus one, which I feel like as a standalone movie, I would rather go watch that
I
or
would,
Shin Godzilla, for instance, too.
yeah, I would pick those any day over the original 59.
Yeah. Well, I would say there's a lot of Godzilla movies on the list that are just questionably like this is one of the best Godzilla movies, but it's just like for me, I like it when Godzilla's got some competition in the movie,
Yep.
and we don't really get this one. And
The power lines are competition in this one.
we get some tanks. You have the Oxygen Destroyer.
Yeah.
And funny enough, is like again, this is a bit controversial. I would give the American version. I would bump the American version up to a 3 for Raymond Burr. I would be more inclined to probably rewatch that one over the Japanese, only because I don't have to pay as much attention to read the subtitles.
Wow, that is so lazy and yet so true. Because I would too.
Because sometimes with these movies, I just like to pop them on and play them in the background.
Yeah, I'll be washing dishes or doing something, or like in your case, you're working on your toys. You just lean over, see when it's action part. When it's done, you go back. To
I'm just doing commissions. Casey's playing around or something, so I kind of watching it while like playing with her. Like we have it in the background, so I can still like follow along, but I don't have to like be as dedicated to it. Also, it's another one of those movies I kind of gotta be in the mood because 1954 is a bit on the depressing side, especially the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Especially with that scene where like the lady's like, "We're gonna go see Daddy soon," and blah 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 with the kids and everything. Like it's a bit heart wrenching, and that's again
It's good for your soul.
It's one of those movies. It's like anime, like the depressing animes, where it's just like I kind of got to be in like a certain mindset to really want to.
School Days is not
Take those
depressing. School Days is a great anime.
I'm talking more like Your Lie in April or like Plastic Memories or like I heard about like this anime that's like it's meant to make you cry. And sometimes I'll watch them just because of how much I hear, but like I said, I gotta be like those are like the days I feel like sick and I want to watch them.
That's understandable.
So I'm already sad that I'm sick, so why not?
Why not just
Why not watch other people wallow in their own misery? Okay, now this is also where we're gonna get some crap. Godzilla 1955. Godzilla raids again. I'd put this at a 4.
Explain.
This is a bit skewed because one, I actually like the suits. I think the suits are sweet. I like the human characters in it. And growing up, it was one of my favorite ones, and I honestly preferred this one over 1954.
I don't like human characters in Godzilla movies until we get to the aliens, roaches.
Kobayashi was my boy. Okay. Plus with the playing things, you still get a bit of that little depressing side, but it's not nearly as hard as it is in 1955. And honestly, I think it's it works almost better for me as a horror movie, just the way it's presented.
It is definitely like, it reminds me of like -1. It is based to be more horror than action or, thriller.
And when I was growing up too, it always surprised me of just like how violent it is for something that's so old, with like Anger's like bleeding out of his neck while Godzilla's like ripping into it. Like it's just like it's a lot more violent than you get with a lot of the other Godzilla movies moving forward.
Yeah, like you said, honestly it is. I'd say like 3 for me.
Yeah, it's like I would probably say 3, but it's one of those ones that if I'm watching, like if we're gonna watch Godzilla, we're like, we want to watch an old one and like we're kind of in like that like 50s black and white kind of feel. This is the one I'm gonna put on.
The only reason why I would say 3 is just I don't like Anger's costume in that one. That's it. Like but that's like personal, level.
Oh, I say it's my favorite Anger's.
Really?
Outside of the weird thing that happens with his back spines once in a while, I like his head and the puppet.
Yeah,
it's my favorite. Like close-up Godzillas is from that movie.
Oh, so okay, I kind of get it because when it is like those scenes where it's like a puppet part, it does look really good. But it's like when it's moving on its own or like, like outer shot, like the whole body shot.
It's a weird. It's also kind of odd that they sped up the footage in that one. But to me, it kind of made it more animalistic. Like, there's a lot of things in this movie that just make it kind of unique in comparison to a lot of the other Godzilla movies. Also, I'm putting a 4 on the English version I would also prefer to watch over the Japanese because I like the eerie 50 sci-fi sound effects that they added to the movie, where the Japanese is almost eerily silent watching it, and it gives you different
Two different
feel.
perspectives for it.
So guys, the Japanese one, I kind of gotta be in the mood for it. So Japanese, I would put a little bit less. I would probably sit it at about a 2. I'm almost always gonna watch the English version over this.
Yeah, certain ones definitely.
Yeah. So next on the rewatchability, Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla, 1962. Anybody that pays attention to this channel knows my answer. Oh, it's a hard 5 for me.
I fucking hate that monkey.
It's the best Kong though.
No, it's not.
He gets drunk. He isn't
Okay, you know
obsessing
what?
over women the entire movie.
You know what? I will give you that. I'll bump
He
my
has
answer up.
electric powers from
He-
lightning for reasons.
He does get drunk, and that is great. And he does Steve. He does steal the powers that's supposed to be part of Frankenstein powers from that movie, but it
Yeah.
just gave it to him. So he's like, oh.
Also, the puppet close-up shots are amazing.
Oh.
It's got some of my favorite human characters in it, especially with the pharmaceutical guy.
That's
I love
like
that dude.
saying Minya is pretty.
I'd say the Kong suit's better than Menu.
Yeah, I can't even argue that.
The fight's entertaining. It's one of my favorite Godzilla suits. It's also a fairly unique Godzilla suit because it's more reptilian looking than some of the other ones. In terms of the face.
You know, that suit actually is honestly hidden pleasure for me because it is more like reptilian. Kind of reminds me of the 98 Godzilla.
Also, that one native girl that that has to run away from the octopus. When little Steve started learning things about his biology, that started watching this movie because of her.
Steve decided he figured he had.
Also, I realized I like tentacle stuff because of the we're growing.
Where Steve's hentai love came in.
Uh,
Next.
but no, that movie is amazing. Also, I do I love. It's probably the one I reference a lot in life because of my corns.
Corn.
Yeah, the corn on your feet because your corns hurt, so you know something's going to be happening.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Movie's fantastic. Next, Godzilla versus the Thing. Godzilla versus Mothra.
Do you even have to ask?
This one I would probably my Showa list is going to be really construed. I would probably put this at about a 2 in terms of how often I'd want to rewatch it. It's not super low. 2 I would say is middle ground for me.
I seen it once and that was enough.
I've used to watch it quite a bit growing up, but now it's it's not my favorite suit. I like the Mothra stuff, but for the most part, the larvas have probably the best showing in the fights in the movie. It's not the most exciting fights.
It is sad when larvas are better than Mothra, okay? Just saying.
Yeah, the plot's pretty solid for what it is. It's got some good stuff going on, but for the most part, this is one of those ones if I'm binging, it'll pop up into the list. But as a solo movie, I think there's other movies that include Mothra I would much more rather would pop in than this one.
Yup.
For instance, the next movie, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster.
I actually love that movie.
I like this one. I would bump it up to a 3. I would say for me.
4.
I'm curious to see what your next one's going to be. Because we get the first introduction to Ghidorah, which I do like the show of Ghidorah.
King
quite a bit.
Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah.
Thank you very
Sorry.
much.
It's got a decent amount of interesting things, like the asteroid crash landing. You get you get destruction from Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra. Plus, you get multiple different fights throughout the movie.
Yeah, kind of like Godzilla King of Monsters, I love that movie. This is just the older version of it.
Pretty much. For my Godzilla versus Monster Zero. This is the one with the Exians and Godzilla goes to space.
I don't know why I like that movie. Every fiber in my body tells me that I'm an idiot for enjoying that movie, okay?
It's the 5 for me for this one.
Seriously, you think about that. It's just such... it's stupid, but I'm like, yay!
Yeah, well, it's just like I love the characters in this one.
Yes.
Like the Exian aliens were
Yes.
sweet. Glenn. You have Nimikawa. I think it was what her name was. Which again,
Yeah, it's like Nimi's.
yeah, again, Steve started learning about feelings from that one. This one too. The spaceships were sweet. The whole Godzilla going to space and fighting him on the planet X, like that was my dream. God, like, you get the dance in this one.
Oh God, I forgot.
They
about
defeat the aliens with sound.
that. Oh God, World at Wars right there.
Like, it's just such a weird yet oddly entertaining movie. Where, if I'm gonna be watching Showa Godzilla movies, this is like up there with what I'm gonna be hopping on with, for sure. Now, a fun one: Ebra, Horror of the Deep, Godzilla versus the Sea Monster.
Next.
I think it's a 1 for me.
Next.
I wouldn't say it's unwatchable for me.
Get out of here with the space chickens and.
But
Get out of
same space chicken. It's a giant condor. Thank you. But it always bugged me that Godzilla just doesn't feel like Godzilla in this movie, which it was meant to be Kong. So that's why.
Was it? Is that why it was like
yes,
that?
but it's just like it doesn't feel like a Godzilla for me.
No, that's what I
Honestly, it's probably one of the better plots.
because it was not designed for Godzilla. That's why it's a good plot.
Ouch. In comparison to some of the other ones. Like, it's got a decent amount of entertaining stuff for the human aspect, but again, it's not really why I come back to rewatch these all the time. And also, I've watched this one so much growing up, because it was like, I had like 5 or 6 of the VHSs for the longest time, so you watch what
Well,
you
it's not
had.
just that. This was one of the movies that actually played on a TV. So if you had one of those, like if your TV was be able to go past like 56, and once you get to like those later channels,
Yeah, it'd be like AMC, Sci-Fi
Yeah.
would always have the marathons, it'd be on there.
yeah, it'll be on there. So you've seen it a lot.
And it's got probably some of the most disappointing monsters in the series with Ebra and the Condor.
It's a chicken.
Like, Ebra I thought was kind of cool to begin with and kind of scary, but then it was just like, when you, like, nowadays it's like the fight's just like, it's a volleyball fight and he gets his arm ripped off. That's really all that happens.
Yeah, it sucks when you think about it. That's why I said next.
Yeah, great. Son of Godzilla. Our introduction to Minya. You get Kamacuras, you get Spiga. Honestly, coming back to it, like, the plot's
I like
solid
Kamacuras,
enough.
actually.
Kamacuras I always thought was cool. Kamunga was always sweet too. I still always want to call it Spiga, because that's just the English version.
Yeah.
Minya's probably my least favorite thing about the movie. But it's got like enough things going on that I would probably...
There is no justifying that little shit, okay? We're far in the video, I can say this. There's no justifying that little shit.
I think I would still give it a 1. Only because it's like, again, I would have to be like, there's a reason why I'm coming back to this movie, and I don't think I'm ever just popping it in. But I'd probably, even like showing it to Casey, like if she wanted to watch like Godzilla movies, this is kind of the weird one to introduce her with the baby. I know it's the first one, but like baby almost gets murdered, and then they freeze at the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So it's like, I don't want to have to explain that the baby's okay.
There
It looks like it's been murdered twice.
Yeah.
And I think it was just like, oddly enough, Minnie's not in a whole ton of movies, but I would probably more inclined to show Revenge over this one if I was going to be watching it with the kids. Now, Destroy All Monsters.
Great. I love that.
I'd probably say
I love that movie. Like, honestly, it's a good movie.
it's a good one. I think I would put it at a 4.
It seems like with me the trend is like the more monsters there is on the screen, the more I'm excited and hyped about it.
That's kind of it. Like, the fight at the end's pretty sweet, too. I like the stuff with the aliens in it. The characters are fairly interesting.
And the reason why I keep going back to it is because there's so much happening the first time I watch it, and the second time I watch it, I will always find new things because I missed it the first time I watched it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I wouldn't put it as high as like Monster Zero, because I think Monster Zero kind of did the same thing, but just better. With less monsters. But this is kind of like, I just want a smorgasbord of kaijus, like, give them to me.
Yup.
Okay. Godzilla's Revenge. We were talking about it a little bit earlier.
I don't ever want to see that movie again, but I love that movie. Is that so hard?
I'd put it at 2.
Like,
Although 2 kind of hurts me because I just said 54 was like a 2. But again,
yeah. Oh my God, Steve, you just lost us to 5
I
subscribers.
didn't
We
say
gained over last
best.
month.
Again, I didn't say best. Just like I said, this list is we're making it a little different. This is rewatchability for me, and it's such a goofy movie.
Oh, it's so great. The villains, the kids, the human characters, the yeah.
Like again, like if I was gonna be putting on monster movies for Casey to watch, and we were gonna sit down and watch them together, I'd watch this over like I said
yeah.
some of the other ones.
I'm putting this in.
Like just how like it's a fun's a strong use of the word here.
Oh God, don't exaggerate it.
But
that much.
there's enough things here that's entertaining, and then it takes some of the crappier Godzilla movies like Son of Godzilla, Ebra the Sea Monster, and we still get all the better parts of those movies with a bit more of a,
Yeah, we do.
I guess I'm gonna say entertaining plot with the kids and being kidnapped, and the guy like makes.
You know how I looked at it? If I did not want to
Big
watch
stuff.
those previous movies again, I'll just watch this one just for the action scenes.
Yeah, because like I said, I would put the other ones at like 1, while this one gets a little bit of a notch up. All right, Godzilla versus Hedorah, the Smog Monster.
You know, I hate to admit this, but I actually like that movie. That's like a solid 4 for me. Even though it's got that stupid environment message in it and all that crap, the movie itself is good. 1?
Yeah, it's in that bracket of I'm only gonna watch this movie if I have a specific reason to. Because I like Hedorah and I love the concept of Hedorah, but the plot just I don't know. For me, it didn't really work.
Steve, he takes a chimney and rips it and he smokes it like cigarette. But the chimney is ripped off, so there's nothing coming out
It's
of
like
it.
Godzilla gets parts of his limbs melt. Oh yeah, I'll bump it up to a 2. Because there's, like I said, the monster stuff for me is entertaining, but it's a bit of a slog getting through everything else.
See, you're looking at one way, I'm looking the other way. I'm looking at the action monster part, you're looking at the human part. Like,
Well, that's what I mean. The human part dubs it down, though. Because again, this is a movie, like, I'd have it playing in the background, but I don't want to, like, actively
you know,
watch everything.
Touche. Okay. I'll give it 2-3.
Yeah, like, 2, I could fall at a 2. I can see people wanting to be like, yeah, I'd still probably, again, would rewatch this over some of the other.
See, the thing is, like, I like Hedorah the monster, so for me, it's like more like, I think, like, just because of the monster.
Yeah, like I said, the monster was cool and it was fairly unique, but again, it's like I said, it's like one of the better ones for like YouTube clips, which is going to be a few of these because we also have Godzilla versus Gigan. I would also probably put it around a 2 because again, would I put it at a 2?
I like the space chicken.
Actually, me and Casey watched this the other day, like a few months ago. So I'd probably put it at 3.
Really? Is there enough to justify in the first appearance of Guy Gando?
I like the human characters. The monster fight's sweet. It takes a while to get to the monster fights, which is kind of where
Which
it
is
kind of
the
hurts me
drag.
a bit.
Yeah.
Also, the aliens are cockroaches, which was cool.
That's why I gave it 2 instead of 0, just because they're cockroaches.
I'm gonna put it at 3, only because Godzilla versus Megalon, I would put it at 2.
Yeah.
Because that one, the human element, the monster fight's interesting. Jet Jaguar's kind of cool.
You know, I need to sit down one day and just watch all these movies from beginning to the end again.
I've seen them so many times. It's just like I'm good. I'll watch them though. It doesn't take much of a argument for me too. I know at some point I want to restart trying to get the toys reacting to these movies, so I'm gonna have to watch them anyways.
You know, honestly,
I gotta watch them to figure out what I want to make fun of and then go back through it. Oh, all right. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
top notch. Love Mechagodzilla.
I like Mechagodzilla too.
Wait. Can I judge it just because I like the monster? Not really, because it's not fair, because the rest of the movie's just 2, possibly.
Alright, so for me, I'm going to go through these 2 pretty quick, but the first introduction of Mechagodzilla, I would put at a 3. Terror, I'd put at a 4.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Terror Mechagodzilla, like Titanosaurus is a sweet monster. We get like multiple iterations of the fights.
Yo.
It reuses some of the same footage and
Which
the
is kind
aliens.
of kicking it nuts, but
But I just found, to me, I found the story to be a little bit more compelling than 54, or sorry, 74. And the one nice thing about 74 is you do get, again, multiple monster fights, and there's also multiple more monsters in the movie
Yeah.
overall, because you have King Caesar and Anguirus that show up.
King Caesar.
And the violent factor is there, so I would still be willing to rewatch this and come back to it eventually, but I have to put Terror a little bit higher.
It is.
It's just the one
It
I
is a
prefer
better
little
movie.
more.
Yeah, it is a better movie, honestly. So.
Godzilla 1985, our second solo Godzilla movie. Honestly, growing up was one of my favorite ones, but that being
I
said,
feel like as I get older, the worse that movie gets.
yeah, I kind of have to put it at a 2.
Yeah.
Which, again, Godzilla solo movie. So there's, I kind of gotta be in the mood. This is another one I probably would watch the English version over the Japanese because again, I don't have to pay as much attention. The Super X is sweet, like the destruction. The Raymond Burr stuff I always thought was fairly entertaining. But again, for Godzilla movies, I kind of want just more than Godzilla just walking through a town.
Like I said, the older I get, I feel like the worse that movie gets. I remember 85 when I was first time seeing it. I was like, whoa. Now it's like,
But again, it's kind of at the same section where the plot's like fine, but then the monster stuff outside of the Super X fight, it's really like I would be more inclined to reread the manga than watch the full movie.
Well, like you said at the beginning of this video, there is way better solo Godzilla movies.
Yeah, which kind of hurts because it's just more recent. Like 54, I would say is the better solo movie. I just like the suit mainly.
54 or 85, yeah.
Yeah, like as a whole, 54 is much better.
85 looks
But
better.
I was just like, but aesthetically, I like it a little better. Godzilla versus Biollante.
Oh, but that's a classic. I could have watched that a few times.
I would say out of the Heisei ones, this is probably a 5.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And it's not even just based on the monsters or anything like that. It's just, overall, the movie is top notch.
Yeah, you kind of get your same stuff from 85, where you get Godzilla just kind of walking through, breaking things. You get the Super X2 fight. You get 2 Biollante fights in this. You also get people being attacked by tentacles.
Hentai.
The human stuff I thought was kind of entertaining and a little bit different, especially with the whole like her spirit being infused into the flowers and then the G cells and stuff. I just thought it was a fairly unique movie.
Yep.
So out of the Heisei ones, this is definitely up there in the ones I would rewatch. Now, oddly enough, the Gamera ones would be all 5s for me. For Heisei, but we'll get back. Oh, sorry, 455. We'll say 455. Anyways, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. The time traveling one. I'd probably say 2. This is probably the one. This and one other Heisei movie, which Godzilla vs. Mothra, I would both put at 2.
See, like, for me, is like, again, I'm just basing him on a monster, like the costume of him, you know what I mean?
But for Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, it's like the monster fights, not the most entertaining. It's got some stuff going on, like the Mecha King Ghidorah parts probably.
Again, keyword there's mecha for Arnaz. Top notch.
That part's cool. Honestly, the human stuff is probably, I would say, more entertaining than the monster thing, which again is not really where I want to be.
No, not with these kind of movies, and that's why it's only like 2 or 3 at best, because it's like that's a sad aspect of a Godzilla movie. I'm like here for the humans for once, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, and the reason I give Godzilla vs. Mothra in the same bracket is it's kind of flip-flop. The human part of that movie, I don't really care about all that much. What's really going on there? The monster stuff's a little bit more entertaining, but it's pretty much just monsters shooting beams at each other.
Yup.
And that's generally the fight. Like a Ferris wheel gets knocked into Godzilla.
Oh God,
It's
I
a
forgot
bit more
about
violent
that
than some
scene.
of the other ones. But you do get more monster conflict. But again, if I'm going to watch Heisei, these are probably like the bottom 2 echelons
Yup.
for me. Like, honestly, I put them the same as 85, but I would still watch 85 over these ones. No, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. This is where I would start being like at a 3.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It has its points. It has its good and bad, honestly.
Yeah, human part, not too bad. Baby Godzilla, adorables. You get Godzilla versus Rodan, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Then you get Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla again. You get Rodan gets involved in it, like the monster. Like there's a lot of ebb and
It's a
flow.
mashup.
Yeah. And then, like, when I first watched this movie, you're like, oh my god, Godzilla's dead. And then Rodan sacrifices him. You're like, oh my god.
I'm used to Mothra dying by sacrifice itself.
Right? There's twists and turns with the plot. Like, for me, it was always one of the more entertaining ones. And honestly, it's probably still my favorite Mechagodzilla.
You know what the sad thing is? Like, I watched the first Mechagodzilla movie and I loved that just because of the monsters. And in this one movie, I have not seen this until like 2000.
This is, out of the, like, Destroya before, this is one of the later ones, because my first introduction to this movie was after my first Godzilla convention. I had, like, the Toho, I'm pretty sure they're bootleg VHSs of the movies.
Oh, yeah, it was.
But I had that, Space Godzilla Destroya, because you couldn't get them stateside on VHS.
No, you could not.
I still have them, as a matter of fact. But I rewatched that one a ton. Same with Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. But this one I would dump back down to the 2.
Space Godzilla? You're a fucking pedophile.
The benefit,
Oh, sorry.
The benefit that Space Godzilla has going for it is there's a lot of monster stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire movie, like
I'll give it
you have
that.
them with Godzilla on the island, little Godzilla, and then Space Godzilla gets introduced, and then it's pretty much Space Godzilla plants itself at the city, and then we're monster fighting the rest of the movie.
Space Godzilla is just Epstein Island movie. That's all it is. Just with them.
Oh man! All right, moving on.
Next.
Godzilla versus Destroya.
You know, as a Destroya monster, I like the concept of it. I like how it grows, how it evolves. You know, but that movie for me is just like, okay.
It's a weird one. My brain, I'm just gonna go by gut, and I want to say 4, because I think out of the Heisei movies, it's Biollante and this one are the ones I would probably rewatch the most. And this movie, I feel like it's just got Gamera, Advent of Legion. And I'm gonna get some crap for this. I just feel like it's mostly the same kind of plot, but worse.
Yeah. No, it is. It honestly is. It's
at least beat wise, it got the same beats for me.
It's a good monsters. Like Godzilla's, the outfit is good. Destroya is good. Like I like the whole concept of it. Like how the steps and everything. But the movie itself, and you're like, I've seen this before.
Yeah, like you get the nice Godzilla send off.
Yeah.
At the end, but like a lot of it is because, and mainly what reminds me a lot of Legion is the whole sequence of like the military fighting the little destroyers in the building. You also get
That's what I mean, like the evolution
too.
of it. Humans first trying, and then it gets bigger, and then it gets bigger, and then they're failing. So now Godzilla has to
there's
step
like
in.
evolutions of the monsters.
Yeah.
Throughout it. Legion doesn't evolve, but you have like the paws, the little ones, and then the big one shows up, which Destroya kind of gives me that same feel.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of action in it too. And like I said, I like everything that the movie's doing. And again, I really love Gamera too, so this being similar to the feel for me for that one. Is the reason why, again, I would pump it up. I like Biollante a little bit more, but this is probably my second
Biollante for me
favorite
is
one.
way better than this.
Out of the 90s anyways.
Biollante is like a perfect balance.
Alright, Godzilla 2000. Well, actually 98. Sorry, we're at 98 now.
I have seen this movie more than any Godzilla. I've seen this movie more than combined first list that we did.
I can't say
And
that.
I will say I've seen Biollante movie at least 5 times alone. This movie, I've seen this movie so many times that I can't even count.
Now, I think the one thing is we're definitely a product of the 90s.
Yeah.
And I love me some like mid to late cheesy sci-fi 90s movies. Like Independence Day, Mars Attacks, Lost in Space, this movie, Starship Troopers, like all my jams.
Top notch, everything.
I've watched them so many times. 98, no exception. I love the comedy in it. I think the monster design's cool. I like the plot overall. Granted, it doesn't feel quite like a Godzilla movie.
You shut your pretty mouth. It is a Godzilla
To be
movie.
fair, like I get that argument where they're like it feels more like a Jurassic Park, well, blown up Jurassic Park instead of
That hurts.
instead of a Godzilla movie. But I kind of like that about it. Like it's something that was very unique and a nice change of pace than like your typical Godzilla movie.
I love every human in this movie, and that is so rare.
Yeah,
There's
like
not
all the
one
characters.
character.
Like honestly, Matthew
Godzilla.
like Matthew Broderick's probably like probably one of my more least favorites in the movie, but it's still like
He still pulls it off.
he's still entertaining.
Like his character, he's stupid. Okay?
But it's got a really good supporting cast.
Yeah, supporting cast is better here than the main character.
So there's a lot of times like I don't have a problem rewatching this, and I probably at least like once a year I'll pop this in.
Yup.
And
It's
watch
like
it.
Turbo Man. I'll watch Christmas time. You know.
But it almost feels bad putting it on this list because, like I said, it's probably one of the least. It's like Godzilla versus Ebra, where
It's not a Godzilla movie.
it doesn't feel like a Godzilla movie. I gave it a 1. This one doesn't feel like a Godzilla movie, but for me, it's just a way more entertaining movie, though.
Yes, it is. And I think this is like where our list is just gonna like where a lot of people are gonna hate us.
All right, too, because it's a solo Godzilla movie.
Yeah. So now we're gonna
I
talk
just put
like
it above 2. Well, like I said, in terms of rewatchability, I could easily come back to this one. Like this is a hard 5, and it's like if we had like a 6, I would almost put it at a 6. Like I would almost come back to this more than most any other Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
At least this point in my life.
yeah. Little Arnaz loved this movie back in early 2000s. I have watched this movie so many times.
Yeah, it's like so far on the list it'd be like this. Like I would put like King Kong versus Godzilla a lot higher, and then Biollante kind of hovers in the same area.
Cause like same thing, Godzilla 2000. Man, I love that movie. I know a lot of people are not fans of it, but I love that movie. I would say
I have a lot of-
solid 4 for this movie for me.
I'd say the older I got, and I put it at 3.
Yeah. Like, I personally, like, love that movie, but to rewatch it again, it's like, it's not something I would go for, so I would say 3, you know, like...
I just really love the designs of everything in the movie.
It's like, first... How would I put this? Like... I love the suit. Like...
Yeah, it's like the monsters are really sweet. Like Godzilla, it's probably one of my favorite Godzilla suits. Orga, one of my favorite looking Godzilla monsters. I just like the design. The plot, while it can be a little bit slow at times, I still think is relatively engaging.
It is pretty slow.
I like the human stuff. Rob Zombie made an appearance in this with the theme.
Yes, he did.
Super Beast, accurate for Godzilla, so I dig this one. Godzilla versus Megaguirus.
Do we have to give it a 1?
Honestly, it's probably my least favorite out of the Millenniums.
Do we have to give it a 1?
I could see me still watching this.
The Power Ranger Godzilla is better than this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I hate that freaking movie because it's goddamn Power Rangers. Okay.
We're getting to that one. Like I said, one is still in the realm of I would watch this. I don't mind watching it. It's just like Megaguirus, while it's a cool looking monster, it doesn't really engage me that much with the fight. You have to wait so long to get to
We're going to look at it this way. I'm sitting here and the remote control's way over there. And this movie comes on. I'm going to be like, okay, go for it.
Yeah, like I said, it takes so long to get to the monster fight. And the only other thing that's really engaging that happens before that is when they try to kill him with a black hole.
There is, like, the human aspect of this movie is just...
Yeah, it was like, those are the two things. So again, this is like... If I really want to watch this movie, I'm probably just going to watch clips.
Yup.
Like, this is a hard... It's watching in the background. I'm ignoring the... Probably, like, 85% of the movie.
The thing is, though, like, almost just... For us, almost every movie is at least rewatchable ones.
Yeah. Now, GMK...
Good monster. Good Godzilla.
Yeah... I'd say a 2.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, they're like my least favorite suits out of the Millennium. I don't mind GMK himself, and Baragon is probably the best Baragon we gotten. But the Mothra and Ghidorah just leave something for me to be desired from this. The plot, while being fairly
Something
unique,
to be desired. Whew. Damn Mothra.
the plot doesn't is like it's unique but not very engaging for me, and the monster fights, while there's a decent amount, are still kind of whatever.
Yep.
But I would still watch it over like Mega Gyros and a couple of the other ones. So I'll put it at 2. Now, Godzilla X Mecha Godzilla. And I'm kind of going to toss both of them in together because I almost feel like if you're going to watch X, you're going to watch Tokyo SOS.
Same thing.
Because like the films kind of tie together. So like I'm not going to watch one if I'm going to watch the other. Which, at that point, I would almost put them at a 3.
But if you had to watch just one, which one would you watch more?
Oh, probably X Mecha Godzilla.
Yep.
I like the
Tokyo
Mothra.
SOS is great, but I don't know, just
I like what they did with him
yeah.
in the movie, like having the drill hand. Mothra's in it, so it's got a little bit more going on. But I just kind of like the plot a little bit better in Godzilla X Mecha Godzilla with like her revenge story.
Yep.
I thought it was a bit more entertaining. And I like the color variety too on the Mecha Godzilla with the blue jetpack and everything. I thought was cool. And just like also you get like multiple fights because like Godzilla and it fight early on, and then Godzilla's roar awakens like the 54 inside of it, and then they fight again later.
Which is actually pretty good.
It gives it some depth.
Yeah.
Well, the other one's just like the fight's sweet. I like the fight, but I'm gonna watch them both kind of together. And then now we got your Power Ranger one, Godzilla Final Wars. This is another one growing up. It's kind of slides down my list a little bit more because I used to really like this one because again, all the monster fights. It's got Douglas Gordon in it.
The first time I've seen this movie, I was just amazed. If you were to ask me back then what I thought of this movie, 10 out of 10, great thing. And then I get older and I watch it again and I'm like, ooh. And then you watch it again, you're like, ooh. And then you're like, I'm in my 30s and I watch it and I'm like, oh God.
No, this is also really good crap. I would still put it at a 4.
Oh God.
Just because the monster fights are sweet. I like the designs on most everything. Their Monster X was cool. And again, it kind of reminds me a lot of the 90s.
It is definitely 90s, yes. But for me, like the whole I don't know, it just does not feel right.
You get some Matrix, you get some Power Rangers, you get your kaiju stuff. It's got a lot of it's got a lot of that like Japanese tokusatsu feel to it.
They took way too much and just squeezed it in, so it's just like so much happening. Like Steve says, there's Matrix, there's Power Rangers, there's everything, and you're just like,
and it's got Douglas Gordon.
oh, yeah,
best Godzilla character ever. Popping this in because I forget off the top of my head which came first. Alright, so next would be Legendary's first Godzilla movie. 2014. A 10?
10 out of 5.
We only got
10 out of 5. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like this movie, but I love this movie.
Man, I have to think of this one. Because honestly, I still say out of the legendary Godzilla movies, I think it's my favorite one.
Yeah.
But we're talking about rewatchability.
I could watch that movie again because there's so much happening in it again. It does the same thing for me, like mentally, where there's so much happening that by the time I'm done with this movie, there's certain scenes that I forgot about. And then when I watch it again, I get a little surprised in it on what I missed or what I forgot about the last time. You know?
Yeah, man, I hate that I'm agreeing with you. I'd have to say out of the legendaries, this is probably a 5.
Dude, the battles are great. Like, Godzilla is the man. He fights, just the whole thing. Even though, like, I hate that human character, the main one. What's his name?
Aaron Taylor Johnson's character?
Yeah.
I don't know, I thought he was fine.
Oh, God.
I know a lot of people gave him crap, but I thought it was fine. Like, Brian, the only thing that was, like, I wish Bryan Cranston was more in the movie, because he was definitely the more...
He was the man. He should have... we're not getting into this conversation.
Yeah, this is we could talk a lot about this. We're trying to breeze through some of these.
Yes.
But, like I said, I like the Mudos, the cinematography, like, everything about the movie is just gorgeous.
Because before this, like, the movie that I watched before I went to see 2014 was Godzilla 2000, and I was like, if this movie's just half of what Godzilla 2000 is, I'm gonna be excited. And then I seen it 2014, and I was just blown.
But we'll come back to why we're talking about 5 for this one. Because there's a reason why I was kind of contemplating giving it the 5. But next, Shin Godzilla.
Oh, so
I already know his opinion. I put...
you're gonna,
Actually, I'm going to say 4.
you're gonna hate me because I'm gonna say 1. Because I'm not gonna give it 0 because I would watch it again.
Oh, I'm hurt.
But it is so like I love Shin Godzilla. Love the evolution. Every scene that Shin Godzilla's in, it's top notch. Can't deny that. But the stupidity of it. Godzilla meeting.
That's
Godzilla
the whole point.
meeting. Godzilla meeting. Godzilla
It's to
meeting.
showcase just how inadequate the Japanese government is at about dealing with catastrophes like this. Like, that's the one thing about the movie is the plot.
Are you referencing to 1940s, Steve?
Anyways, so the plot, it's one of those, like, it definitely hits different people more than it would others. And I'm not saying that I think the plot is that entertaining. It works for me. Like, I appreciate the I'm trying to think of the word. Where it's kind of like an allegory or something.
Yeah.
But I love the destruction in the movie. The cinematography is really awesome. It's honestly my second favorite Godzilla design.
Love the design. Love the whole concept of him. Like how he's God. He's indestructible.
But like you mentioned,
ain't shit you can do because no matter what you do, he just evolves to deal with it. Godzilla, great. Evolution steps, great. The concept of how they thought out for him to be a villain, amazing. It's like kind of like a horror movie because he does not die.
Yeah, it's probably one of the other ones it feels more like an actual horror movie.
He does not die. No matter what you do, he will regenerate and come back to deal with what you did. But that whole meeting thing was like, oh my god.
Because you get like a lot of exciting stuff, and then it's like now we're back in a room. With people just talking.
Yes, like shut the and give me the action.
That's kind of why I put it at 4, because this is another one of those, like, I could almost see myself dumping it at 1 more because, again, rewatchability, because it's like, I can almost watch this as clips.
I'm going to give it 2.
And be good.
Okay, I'll change my mind. I'll give it a 2 because it is a really good Godzilla
but
concept.
I actually kind of like, even though, like I said, it's a lot of meetings, I kind of still dig the plot. So, I would put it at a 4. No. This is the fun one. Now it's the anime ones. So Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters. We're gonna put all 3 of these in the same bracket because I feel like if you're gonna watch one, you're gonna watch all 3. You're not just gonna be like, hey, you know what? I feel like watching Planet Eater today, right?
I activated my Netflix account for this and I deactivated it after. Okay.
So Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters, City on the Edge, and Planet Eaters are the only Godzilla movies I would put at a 0. We ain't giving this no Gabras.
I can't. I'm sorry. And I know there's people out there shut up. It's our opinion. Okay?
No. I would say individually I could rank Planet of the Monsters higher than the other 2. If I was saying, like, in terms of what I felt like as a good Godzilla movie, Planet Eaters is watchable. But if I'm going to watch them, I feel like I gotta watch all 3, and there's no way in hell I'm watching the Planet Eater again.
No. You tricked me once, and never again.
That movie, it's unquestionably just a crappy movie, and City on the Edge wasn't even great to begin with.
No.
Like, City on the Edge was like, maybe if Planet Eaters was solid, I could see myself watching all 3. But because the first movie is just like, okay, and then it just takes afterwards. I just don't need to watch them. I have no urge to ever watch them again. I would rather watch the Hanna-Barberas than go back to that or something.
Yeah.
If I would need to watch some animated Godzilla movie.
Yeah, that right there. Like, great idea, Steve.
Or Singular Point. I would just
Singular Point.
infinitely watch Singular Point over that.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're back to Legendary. We're at Godzilla King of the Monsters.
4. Next. Move on. That's all you need to know. Monster fights great. The rest of the movie sucked.
Yeah, it's like I'd have to put it at. It's a weird one because, like you mentioned, the human parts kind of suck. So it's like I said, I'd more rather just watch clips. But I've definitely popped this one on more times than I would have thought I would have. Because I just have it playing in the background, then I pay attention to the monster stuff's happening.
Like you said, I would love to. I hate to admit it that I watched it more than I thought I would have, but I have went back to this movie and
Especially our initial review.
yeah.
But like I said, I've come back to watch it more and more. So, yeah, I'd say out of these, I'd have to put it at like a 4.
3 or 4 for me, honestly. Like it's a good concept. Like good concept executed poorly.
Godzilla vs. Kong.
I hate the ape, but a good movie. I love it.
No, I like Legendary Kong, personally.
Legendary Kong, yes. I'm just saying in general.
I'd say out of the Legendary movies, I still say Kong Skull Island's the best one.
Yes. I hate to say that, but yes, it is.
That in 2014 are the two
It's got
best.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, it's just like entertaining characters. Monsters are sweet. Fights are good.
I love this movie.
Soundtrack's pretty solid. Godzilla vs. Kong is, again, in that same bracket of I like the monster stuff, the humor things. I could kind of care less so. But again, it's another one I've kind of come back to. I tend to watch, I'll just put the legendaries on and just have them in the background. I'll pay attention to the monster stuff.
See, the thing is, though, you come back in 20 years and this list will be different just because we won't watch it as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But this is, again, like the human stuff. I find the Kong part more engaging than the Mechagodzilla part.
Yup.
100%. But I like the monster fights in it. So again, I give it a little bit higher. Alright, so next for Godzilla -1.
5 out of 5. We don't even talk about it. It's great.
Yeah, this is like the cap on Gabbara's on solo movies.
Yeah.
Human part of it, super entertaining. The monster stuff, equally entertaining. It's probably got the best. Then, this and Shin have probably the most interesting Godzilla just wanton destruction on a city scenes.
You know, as funny as this might sound, but this is like one of the movies that I really enjoy the human character. He's such a little bitch, and I love it. It's great. It's great. He's the only suicide bomber that was scared to death. I love this guy.
As he should be.
Yeah.
Like I said, you feel for the guy. And like I said, it's like everything about. I love the boat. Like when they're just on the little wooden boat, everything about that is awesome.
Yeah, every scene in this movie is great.
Yeah, I would
Probably the weirdest thing about this movie that's kind of weird to me, and I don't know where it's going to lead or if it leads anywhere, is at the end when that female character is infected with whatever's going on, and you're like, huh? What's that?
Honestly, it makes me feel like we might get Biollante because we have the human girl infected with Godzilla DNA.
Oh.
So something might tie in with that. I don't know, but that's where my brain goes with that.
And this movie was such a great success, they are going to continue on.
Oh, they are. Yeah, they're already working on it.
Yeah.
And I used to would say Shin Godzilla had the best solo scenes, but Shin's has one really, really, really good solo scene that's still better than I would say anything in this, which is the night fight scene. It's where you first get introduced to Godzilla's beam.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's like fucking disco party.
Like just the music and everything, and then it's just so much sweet stuff going on. This is like a close second though.
Yeah,
just like that. Like I said, them on the boat, super awesome, and then he fights the destroyer, which is really sweet.
Godzilla pops up and just a little head in the water like a fish. Yeah,
everything about that I love to death. The Godzilla in the city scene, I would say, while it's good and it's definitely an improvement over what we got with 54.
Yeah.
But I think that Shin Godzilla scene kind of overshadows that just a little bit.
Yeah.
But the beam was still cool. I just loved how the beam just it's almost like a railgun and then makes the nuke. It's still really cool. But like I said, the little Shin scene. But I think overall, definitely the best solo stuff we got. And then finally, as of this recording, we have Godzilla the New Empire.
Can I say this without people getting mad? I like that movie for just how stupid it is.
I like it better than Versus Kong.
There's absolutely nothing great about that movie, and yet I would watch it all the time.
Because this is This is kind of like we've been watching. I kind of come back to the Godzilla movies a lot for the
He
monster
shoots
fights.
a beam that goes through Earth, okay?
That's versus Con, not.
I know. And then we come into this movie, and he's a bitch. He has to go evolve in ice to be stronger, okay? He shoots a beam that goes through Earth. And then we come to this, and now he's
got to get over supercharged so he can fight another giant monkey. That we already established he could beat one giant monkey.
Exactly.
Yeah, Shiva, we got ice monster kaiju. But for me, it's just like the monster stuff is probably the most engaging we've gotten out of the legendary movies.
I mean, I still
and the
enjoy
human
it.
stuff is not insufferable.
No.
So
Not
I can
like-
actually, I would like this is one of the, like probably the one legendary movie outside of 2014 and Skull Island that I can sit and watch everything.
Yeah.
And I don't just like turn my brain off and like start playing Pokemon Pocket or something while they're talking.
Like you do with a Godzilla King of Monsters.
Yes.
Oh,
And I'm like,
okay,
hey,
we got-
Rodian, pay attention.
Yeah.
So this one I would also put at a 4.
Yeah.
It's like most legendaries, I would say
A solid
hovering
4.
around a 4, but this is like close to a 5.
Like I said, if it just...
Now, if we're ranking them on how good they were, but it's just easy for me to watch them,
Yeah, that is true.
which is nice. Also, some of this, like I'm trying not to think of this as like ease of access too, because it's just like I can just pop an HBO and watch them, while some of them I actually have to like physically get the DVD out and put
See,
them in.
the thing is, those, like, these movies, like, or at least the newer ones, I want to get them all in 4K, so I've been accumulating them in 4K.
I buy them
now.
just to buy them, so I have them
Yeah.
in case something like streaming stops being a thing. I have some way of watching
Like,
them.
2014,
The power goes out.
I love that movie so much, I bought the collector's edition 4K, and it's never been open. But I just bought it just for the sake of having it, because if I want to watch it, it's on TV.
Yeah, I still wish I would have had that Japanese set with that came with the monster arts.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad I
But-
missed that.
I'm okay since I sold them all anyways. But anyways, you can let us know in the comment section below what's your most rewatchable Godzilla movie. Like I said, I'd say overall it's still 1962. It's the one I would just pop in.
Really?
98's close,
98 and 2014 for me.
but they're both up there. But like I said, this list is primarily based off rewatchability and not how good the monster movies are.
Oh, God.
If you guys are interested in us actually redoing the tier, like instead of doing more like tiers, just redoing the list again, let us know in the comment section below, because it's definitely gonna be a little different than the previous one we did.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're also gonna actually just sit down and do the suits, but we're gonna kind of rate them by each movie as well, when we do the suits. But anyways, you can always defeat those guys by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a Ranger Today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, Facebook. Guys, like you about the day with channel donate, greatly would appreciate it. And if you guys like to pick up some kaiju collectibles for yourself, link in the description for CalcusToys.com. You can save 6% off your order. Code Steve Calcus at checkout. If you guys are looking to pick up some of the new Hayas, the Ling Jihu Pacific Rim figures, they have the turtles, the Joy Toy ones are currently up there, or the Ling Jihu turtles. I'm hoping to get some review samples of those because I just want those. But anyways, we'll see you guys next one.
Bye-bye.